Hey everybody, I am Tommy and you are on the LifeBoat. What's happening? I have my friend Casper with me. Casper, what's happening? Welcome to
yo,
the
yo,
night
yo, yo,
yard.
yo.
Have
I
you,
want to be
man?
so corny, but I don't. But then I don't want to get people say, "Hey, don't have that guy come back."
Right, what the hell is wrong with that dude you have on?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Welcome to Night Yard.
There you see that, dude?
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the dulcet tones. I'm forever trying to throw out a good, this is the dulcet tones of Tommy Scoville. It's a dying art, bro. Nobody appreciates it anymore.
Dude, I know.
All right, I'm gonna throw out some hellos and see who we've got up in the on the deck today. Sandy Wendy, what's happening? Kristen Melinda, good to see you. The newest nut in Carnosol. Kim, what's up? Hey Anna, just Joan. Sandy Wendy. Dee Dee Razzle Dazzle's here. Sweet, sweet, sweet. In Carnosol, there you are.
I didn't know I could chat too.
Yes, you can. Kristen Melinda, I think I said hello. Megan Jeffrey, what's up? Darkly Noon. Hey, Kelly is here. Layla Snake. Art of what? Jingaloo? Well, hello. Art of Jingaloo. How often do you get to say that in a sentence? How about Haley Ryan? How are you? Cassandra, good to see you. Dawn Van, I knew a woman named Cassandra, and her favorite expression was, "You need a Quaalude."
Really?
I'm not kidding you. Like it was one of that when someone mentions your name, it's one of those things where instantly you go, "Oh yeah." She said it a lot.
I knew Cassandra in Venice Beach, and her favorite thing to me was like, "You can't hang out with my husband no more."
Oh, you know what though? I bet you heard that a lot.
I did,
dude. I used to hear that all the time.
Their husband, not me.
That's a sad thing, though. It really is. I was always a plague on people in relationships and in marriages and whatnot. There was always somebody that was very unhappy that I was hanging out with. With their guy. It's just, yeah, you know what though? These days it would probably be different. Although these days I don't hang out with anybody. Roberta, good to see you. Donna, how are you? DJ Daddy-O, what's up, Mr. T? Good. Wrench from back in he's been here forever, man. Been here forever. JCP, good to see you. Let's see. Brenda, how are you? Hey, Kristen B, good to see you.
You can see my shirt.
Hey, Legal Live, there you are. I'll be damned. Just Joan, what's up? Marie Duffy, whine a little bit more. Listen, Metcalf Palumbo, I'm glad that you're here.
What was that?
Truthfully, Sarah, what's happening? Sarah Kiki, good to see you. James Collin cares, and he does. Caradish, can't think of a better name. Do you know how long you've been coming up with that excuse? By now, you would think. Anyway, Deborah, good to see you, Deborah. No, I like that name, by the way. I really do. Hey, Relatable Reese, how are you? Good to see you. I was just talking about you right before we went. Lena in Love, good to see you. Good to see you.
I was literally tattooing until like 5 minutes ago.
No way. Is your back killing you?
No, it's actually.
Are you doubled over in pain?
I did a vitamin B12 shot in my buttocks this morning. Not that would help with my back, but it helped with my energy, and I think it helped me keep my back straight.
I need something, dude. I need something. Zal Storm, good to see you. I need something, bro. It's absolutely horrible. Mm-hmm. I'm miserable. My lower back is just I don't know what I did.
I tattooed for 30 years. That's what happened to me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. There is that.
Yeah.
And it is kind of one of those sports that you spend a lot of time kind of bent over your canvas.
Yeah. It stinks.
You're eternally plagued by indecisiveness. Hence the non-name. Yes. What did they say? What did Rush say? If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
So is that the name of their channel, or can they come up with just a chat name?
That is the name of the channel.
Okay.
Now, whether you ever put content up or not, you're a channel.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody basically is a channel, but some people put up content and some people don't. And then some people pretend to put up content. Take me, for instance. Tommy, did you see that video I sent you? Yes, I did, actually. I'm going to be doing a show about this. And I was talking to my man here right before we went live. We're planning on doing some Diddy stuff as well. I'm on him. Channel equals page. There you go. Yeah. Say, well, there you are. You're seeing Casper again. Casper also puts up content, people. So if you throw if one of the wrenches wants to throw a link up for, sorry. I got the heating pad working though, man. Kim, good to see you. Barbara Aldrich, how are you? So if you have any questions, people, you know the drill. You put the cues up there. And then that will.
Tell me, did you get to see that video I sent you? Link.
Yes. And I did see that.
That's the thing. People have been talking about this for years, but people have just been like, oh, no way, he wouldn't do that.
It just seemed too ridiculous to believe, right?
Yeah. But now since the Me Too and the Him 3 or whatever the guy one is or whatever, it's believable. Anything believable. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
I grew up in that area and in Hollywood. Not that he's from Hollywood, but that scene, and I am shocked. Really, not shocked. I that was a little dramatic. I can't believe it. Like, I know there's some weirdo, there's some underground clubs, and there's a lot of consensual, swinging and different things like that, and like some sex clubs. But you see that in movies, but like freak offs and drugging people and extorting people, like famous people and rich people. That I never would have guessed any of that.
See, I am shocked.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'm not even messed up to say that I am shocked. No joke. I am absolutely I'm absolutely shocked by the entire thing. Not that these freaks exist, but it's a perfect example of how we say that the R word is never about sex, right? I mean, if you look at how diverse the people that he allegedly attacked are, right? You've got young boys, young girls, all the way up to, full-grown adults of both male and female. Doesn't seem to be any kind of rhyme or reason other than the need to control and just be a scumbag.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right.
From DC or something.
It's so good. It's just so good. It's the truth. Best experience in prison and the worst experience in prison. What do you got?
Man, my best experience, and I'm not glorifying my use at all, but I was really, really sick one time, and like really sick. Like I didn't think I was gonna make it sick, and I know I won't die from opiate withdrawal. But my buddy Danny, who I've talked about before, and who I've talked about in other podcasts, he comes running in, and he does not do drugs at all. And he's actually against it. He was always on me. He's like, man, you got to quit. You're going to kill yourself, man. You got to quit. You're going to kill yourself. But if he knew I was sick and he had some, I'm in my unit and he's in his unit. This is at Terre Haute. And like, I'm in M unit and he's like in C unit. And those are on the opposite ends.
They're literally a mile apart.
A mile apart. There's 3 metal detectors to get to it.
Yeah.
And we left lunch together. I made a left, he made a right. I get to the thing. I only went to the chow hall to get well, to find something. Nobody had anything. And my credit was good. And I get to my thing and I'm taking off my shoes. I'm just going to lay down and just try to
be miserable.
Be miserable. He comes running in my cell. He slams the door. He's like, bro, look. And he held up this bag. It must have been 10 grams of powdered heroin.
Good Lord.
And he's a hustler. He could have sold it. He could have done whatever. He's like, man, just give me $100 and you can have this. And that literally was like the best. Like, I can feel it in my chest right now.
No,
it was the best feeling. And that was probably my best experience, except for, meeting some good dudes here and there and just having some wonderful conversations and some realizations about me as a man, all those things considered. But, and my worst experience was probably just, realizing that I'm in a place where people get murdered and just sitting on my bunk, like, okay, people are getting killed here. I need to like man up and be a man of my word, and and all of those things. But that was my worst experience, because I just witnessed a really bad murder, and it was gory. And I'm just a systems engineer from Los Angeles who ended up becoming a prison gang member in federal prison.
Yeah.
So
every
time to think about it, I could probably think of something better than that. But
no, I don't know that that's I think it's probably better if you shoot from the hip anyway. And I understand what you're saying. I really do. I had the stupidest situation occur while I was locked up. Guy says to me, "Will you bring something to the chow hall? Can you drop this off at the chow hall for me?" I said, "Absolutely." Right. It was a wristwatch. And it was a metal wristwatch. This is a wristwatch that had been in the system for a really long time. It's on the street. It's probably a $900 watch. Inside, it's priceless, right? I mean, it's absolutely priceless. It's inside, and it's been there forever. And I'm just supposed to go drop this thing off. And on the way in the door, like as I'm walking in the door, the guy goes, "You." I'm on the way in to chow. I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Come here." I was like, "What are we doing?" Has me up against the wall, and I got the watch in my hand. So I got it against the wall, right, with my like fist holding the thing up, and he gets it out of my hand. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm taking this. You can't have this."
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't deliver this watch. I got to go back to my unit and tell this fool that that his priceless watch didn't get delivered, and he ain't getting paid, and everybody wants me dead, kind of a thing. So I went back to the unit, and I'm like, "Do what you're going to do, bro." You know what I mean? All I was trying to do was help a brother out. Sorry it went down the way it did, but you know what? Screw you. One of those kind of a thing. And it went on for about a day and a half. It was just kind of tense and ugly. And I come back from chow, and a homeboy of mine from the city that I'm from is sitting in my unit. Now, he's not from that unit, right? He is rolled up into my unit and is just sitting in there. And I walked up. I go, "Hey, what are you doing, dude?" And he goes, "Hey, I came to see so-and-so, the dude at the watch." I'm like, "Oh, man, don't trip. I got this." He's like, "No, we already talked. Everything's groovy, bro." Just stood up, gave me a big hug, and walked out the door. And this guy walked into my cell and was like this, dude. He's like, "Hey, we cool? Like, are we good?" And I go, yeah, we're good." He's like, "All right, man. Everything's cool with the watch and all that." He's like, "But we're good, right?" And like, he never came clean. He never said to me, "Hey, this is what I did," but I got to know that he went up there hard, you know what I mean? Like whatever he did, he went in there toughly. And there's something to be said for that crap. There really is. It's I never try to glorify it either, but those are those events that happen where you're like having somebody that has your back. People say that crap on the street a lot, but it really is a very, very unusual thing when somebody has your back. It's a strange thing.
Yeah. That guy just reached out to me too.
Is that right?
Yeah, he said he's seen my interview on Inside True Crime, and he goes, a lot of people don't believe what you were talking about. He's like, "But we both know it's the truth." And I was like, yeah,
no question, right? Okay, here's one for you. That one is all you. Oops, I just got.
I missed it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to it here. So let's see.
It was so fast.
It was so damn quick. There you go. Can we do that one there? No. What are we doing? Hello.
Casper.
There we go.
Do you know of the tattoo guy, Ephemeral Remy, who has done bodysuit over full blackout with amazing color? I've seen the pictures. Here's the deal. That looks really good now. In 6 months, it's not going to look really good. And I'll state my reputation on that as a tattoo artist, and my reputation's decent. But yeah, it's just like the whole like packing in the white over the black, and there's some white out there that's like 1,000,000% pigment. It's called Blanco. You mix it with your Star Bright to make just a really thick bright or radiant white, and it looks amazing. You can put you can use that as a primer and put color over that, even over a blackout, but it just won't stay. It just won't, brother. Yeah, I don't know if you're considering that. I'm considering it. This arm is like completely trash. Just me being bored during lockdowns and yeah.
It's too good. You know what though? There's nothing more dangerous than having a cellmate and a tattoo gun. When the lockdown comes, bro. When the lockdown comes.
I've had guys fight over being my cellie at Phoenix, at Black Canyon. Yep. Fight to be my cellie during a lockdown. It's nuts. I'm like, you guys are crazy, but I get it. So because you know what? I'm going to be sitting there going, hey, let's tattoo.
Right. And we'll tattoo. Senseless.
And I can tattoo 15, 16 hours straight. And
yeah, right.
I love it.
Yeah, nothing would probably make you happier, right?
What tattoo would I most like to create? I want to do some more blacklight tattoos where when you take the blacklight and you go like this and it looks like it's, casino lights going off or flames going like that. But the tattoo I'd most like to create, I've kind of already created, and it was a dragon wrestling an octopus, but it was from the dragon's head started on the chest, wrapped around his back and body, went down on the legs, and the octopus was on each leg, and it was wrestling it. And I did that inside. I did that with a single needle. Yeah. on a guy named Wyatt. He's a jiu-jitsu. He's actually Katy Perry's cousin. She used to come visit him. And all the guys were always like, Katy Perry was in the visiting room. Katy Perry's but it was her cousin. And all to cover up. He came in, he's like, hey, I want to cover up this. I think he had like white power or white something on. He's like, man, I'm not about that. I just want to cover it up. And I was like, I feel you, brother. I'll cover that for you. And it just turned into this big thing because I had the idea a long time ago. And yeah, I just did it. And
those cover-ups become cover-ups, which become cover-ups.
Oh yeah. And people come in all the time to my shop and they're just like, hey, I had this covered up like 5 times and I'm like, that's a mess.
You know what? I'm going to do it because you might. Do you remember a guy in Phoenix named Spooner?
So Spooner, yes. Yep.
He was scratch paper. That dude, if you got a tattoo motor, he would sit down and just let you blast on him. Like some of the crap that dude had on his body, like they did Texas backwards. I go, bro, the panhandle's the wrong way. Well, they're going to do it on the other side so it matches.
Do you remember the dude who had the black kisses all over his face? Yeah. And then the mustache and the eyebrows, the big block. Yeah. Oh my God. But he was crazy. You know what I mean? He had like mental health stuff.
No, for real mental health stuff. And you see these guys and they got the clown stuff that goes all the way up. Remember this? Guys. When we were in the shoe, there was a guy that had the clown stuff that went all the way up to the ears. He had the thing going down through one eye, like exactly like a clown would. Yeah. And we were out in the cages, and I said to Casper, I was like, "Oh, look at that kid, poor bastard. He's like 20-something, man. You get life at that age, I guess." And I said to him, "I go, how long would they give you, kid? Life?" I said, 25, 30. What'd you get? He goes, "No, I'm out in June." I was like, What did you do, man? And he's like, "What? You don't like the ink?" I was like, "Nothing says come home and sleep with my daughter." Or let me give you a high-paying job like getting your face just drilled back. Wow,
yeah. I want to give a shout-out to Credence and Mikey. Are you familiar with them?
I am not, but
they do a channel. They're amazing. They're like polished radio type guys. I don't think they were in radio. I kind of went back into their history and stalked their content, and it was Credence and I think Josh or something before, and I think they're just buddies and just like started doing this together like before the pandemic. And man, I love that. They're badass, man. When I had to step away from YouTube for a few months, I kind of missed some stuff, but I'm back now and I changed my channel name. And, but those guys I'm super fans.
Hey, if you got a wrench, toss a link up to Credence and Mikey.
Man, that would be great. Those guys are
one of the wrenches, and it's a good thing they're here because I couldn't do that if I wanted to.
They do the police chases in LA where I'm from, and it's good.
Oh, I love it.
I could tell my wife, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's Crenshaw Boulevard. Yeah, I know right where that's at." It's fun.
There are police chases in that part of the
yeah, dude. It's every day.
Doesn't sound right, dude. Doesn't sound right. I think you might be BSing this.
Yeah, I'm a liar. Fat out a liar.
Is there still clear shell televisions in? Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely, there are. I wasn't sure what I was reading. Yeah, the clears, absolutely. Everything in there's got to be clear because if not, we'll hide dope and weapons in it, right? Because we're bad folk. There's nothing funnier. I think I told this story on the boat before, but I was dating a woman. I'd been out of prison about 3 years, I think, and we went out to this cocktail party, and everybody there's a stuffed shirt. You know what I mean? Like, but I go in and this guy's giving us a tour of the house, and he's got a little Sony television set that's clear. And he also had a little alarm clock radio on the desk that was clear. And it was just me and my girl in there. And she goes, I've never seen a TV like that. I said, I have. I said, if you look, there'll be a registered number on that thing somewhere. I'm like, that's an inmate TV. And she's like, it's because you've been to prison, right? Starts lighting into me. And the dude comes walking in. I didn't out him or anything else. But later in the night, I ended up having a conversation with him. And sure as shit, the guy had been to prison. But yeah, I got a kick out of the whole... You know, there it is. It's sitting on the desk. I was like, she goes, well, that doesn't prove. I said, what it proves is he's a lame. Like he took his TV home. You didn't hook up one of the fellas, you lowlife.
Yeah.
Who the hell takes home his TV?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude. Yeah, that's out of line.
Nobody. Can you for like my viewers, because this is the first time that we're doing this on my channel too, kind of tell a little bit what the Lifeboat, your channel, is about?
Sure. So true story. The way the Lifeboat came to be was when I got home from my halfway house in the feds, I got a probation officer that said, you're going to do 90 meetings in 90 days, right? You got to go and you got to do 90 meetings in 90 days, you know, for NA or A. And I said, I'm not going to do that. Just not going to do it. And he's like, well, if you don't do it, you got to go back to prison. I said, all right, bet, you know, hook it up. Because I'll relapse. And by that point, I had a lot of sobriety in, man. I had a ton of sobriety in. And I'm like, I'm not going back. Every time I've ever gotten any amount of sobriety in my life, they made me go to an NA or whatever. And I'll run into some fool I know who'll be like, yo, what's up, dog? It's the parking lot, you know?
Yeah.
Start spitting balloons. So I just said, I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen. And instead of hooking me up, he said, tell you what, he's like, you got until Monday to come up with a better idea. Because if not, I am taking you back. And I started the Lifeboat. I didn't call it the Lifeboat. I called it the Tommy Scoville channel. And it was just going to be me talking about staying sober. And if I could get some people to show up doing that, you know, back then you couldn't just go live. You had to actually, like, there was a process you had to do before you could just hit the live button. Yeah. And it meant monetization and a lot of other crap. So we had to put up a lot of videos, but it was crazy because right from the word go, when we started putting up videos, we'd have like 60 views, right? And 190 comments. You know what I mean? Like, wow, it made no sense. And everybody was just sort of rapping back and forth in the comment section, talking about sobriety and about stuff. And once we were able to go live the first time, we never shot another video after that. And when I started to talk about true crime, we kind of got bigger as a channel. I did the Danny Masterson trial. And I was out there for the sentencing. I actually got the very first person out the door to go live and, you know, say what his sentence was and all that, because I had snapped the little thing that you're supposed to hold your phone in. Yeah, like I wasn't trying to take pictures or do anything janky. I just wanted to be the first dude out the door to hit record. And as everybody was online and they're using the little key, I just flipped it at the dude. I was like, later. Ran outside. Cool. But yeah, it's really kind of a live your best life channel. The reason it got called the Lifeboat, it was the Tommy Scoville show, and we opened it up for suggestions. And the Lifeboat, we're all in the same boat, right? It doesn't really matter what your affliction is. It doesn't matter if you're if you're addicted to blow, or you're addicted to tar, or you're addicted to gambling, or you're eating too much, or it's sex, or whatever it is, or this bad boy, right? The most addictive substance on planet Earth these days, right? Yeah. But whatever it is, we're all in the same freaking boat, and that's kind of how the channel got started. And then this low life, I ran into. We did a little time. We hung out. Yeah. Dude, we did. That was some of them. Honestly, even if you talk to convicts, that was unusual time, because there was never two of us in a 2-man cell. There was always at least 3 of us. Yeah. So that was just ridiculous. It was unhealthy. It's amazing that nobody really. But I could tell some funny stories. It's probably almost late enough. So listen, this is just a quick one because this is funny as hell. And then I'll get to questions, I promise you. But this is a funny story. So we had this youngster in the cell with us. not burdened by deep thought. You know what I'm saying? Not burdened by deep thought. And they pulled us out onto the rec yard so that they could fix the cell, get rid of the cockroaches and all that. All they did was take this gray, thick sealant and paint all of the gaps with it. Well, this kid's up there, and he had eaten these little blue Smurfy pills that he said were like mushrooms. They weren't, right? They were miserable, but they weren't like mushrooms. But this night he did it alone, and we were just sort of looking at him and laughing. But the kid was peeling this stuff off of the wall and chewing on it. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
He goes, it's like gum. I'm like, I don't think you want to put that in your mouth, bro. Like it's, you know, it's a bad idea. And he's chewing it. He's like, honestly, it's just, and then it started to stick. Like all at once it went from being chewy to sticky. And it was one of the funniest experiences watching this kid.
So crazy.
Just an absolute moron.
Yeah. Well, man, we're in a better place, man. I love my family, and like I'm able to hang out with my 5-year-old. It's just, life is amazing right now, man. And I've been richer and I've been poorer recently, but life is amazing.
You know, I say it all the time, but I am of the firm belief that that freedom is wasted on people that have never felt what it's like to lose it, because it'll change your life in a really big way. Honest to God, it will. But under the best of circumstances or the worst of circumstances, that it's like when the dude said to me, you know, I'll take you back to prison. I would rather be sober in prison, for real, than strung out on the street. You know, I could never go back to that life. You know what I mean? I just couldn't. Are the feds investigating where the missing children may be found? Could Diddy end up at ADX Supermax? Diddy could absolutely end up at ADX and Supermax. He absolutely could. In fact, he's doing everything right now to end up at ADX, right? Proving that you can't follow any of the rules that the institutions they put you out of. That's a really good start.
To being high profile, where you could buy cops, because they know their guards aren't infallible, or like they can be bought. I mean, even at the ADX, but you're only going to be dealing with one or two, and it's so locked down there. And
it is so locked down there. You just don't see guards even. You know what I mean? Like your interaction is so limited.
Yeah. And they really try to find the best of the best to work there as guards.
No question. Yeah. So I actually spent a glorious 3 days at ADX Florence, but I was in it. They have dormitories in there. There are dorms in there, and they're cadre worker dorms. But we were being brought into the SMU, and there was only one unit, right? That's special management unit at the whole prison. So there was no place to put us until the people that were graduating were shipped out of there. So there was like 7 of us, and they brought us to ADX. And I remember, honestly, dude, I knew I wasn't going to like the weird ADX, but just cruising across the street and looking at it, you drive down into a parking garage.
Yeah, it's more. It's not really underground. It's just kind of like a hill.
It's like a volcano.
Yeah. I've driven past it when I was at the pen there a couple times, but yeah,
I was at that pen too. That's actually a great pen as far as it goes.
Awesome pen. Yeah.
I really enjoyed doing time there.
When they brought Chapo there, they locked us all down. I was there when they brought out Chapo there. Yeah,
that's crazy, isn't it? He's going to be there a hot minute.
Allegedly.
That dude ain't going nowhere, bro.
Yeah.
He ain't going nowhere, for real. That's a permanent address. You got to be really, honestly, I don't know. So all the cadre workers, we were in the unit. We weren't allowed to go out. We were locked down with them. But the cadre workers were talking to us, and I was like, oh, so you get to see these dudes all the time? Are they going nuts in there? Have you ever seen, the Unabomber, all that? The dude's like, dude, nobody sees anybody. He's like, it doesn't work like that. He's like, all we do is laundry. He's like, we cook. He's like, no, we don't get anywhere near anybody. No. Those cadre, they live in a normal little unit, but that unit, everybody in there is doing something. They're either working CMS or they're doing whatever, but nobody ever sees those inmates. That life sucks.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Everybody I ever knew that went through it was batshit crazy. Plain and simple. I mean, crazy.
I've had a couple cellies that had been there for like 12 years, and they were
talk to themselves around the clock.
Yep. The one guy would wash himself with coffee, thinking Steven Spielberg was shooting something at him. I couldn't remember. It was something to do with Steven Spielberg, but he would wash himself with coffee every morning.
You know something?
Yeah.
You can't make this stuff up, but
Yeah.
I knew a guy at Lewisburg, and he was an absolute lunatic, but he lived across the hall from me. You know, you rotate every 21 days, but when I first got there, he was directly across the hall. Biggest black dude you ever saw. And he would go, "Hey, you gonna eat that country crock?" The little butter things.
Yeah.
And I'd go, "Yeah, I don't use it, man. They send it for the oatmeal." It's like, I'm not putting that on oatmeal. I'm good. So I get tons of them. He'd go, "Don't throw those out, man. I want those." So I'd shoot him over like 8 to 10 of them at a time. And he wasn't a very nice guy, but what am I, I'm not using them. And I look over one day and he's in the mirror. I mean, greasing himself up with the country crock, dude. Just,
do you remember his name?
A dirt dog.
Was he like a little skinny older guy? Like little?
No, he was good size.
Oh, big black dude. You said big black dude. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, he's terrifying. But
I'm an idiot.
But he would grease himself up with this stuff.
Yeah.
That's just, the stuff that you see where you go, there's no way in hell. But is soup served often? No, soup is not served often in there, but you eat soup just about every day.
Yeah.
Soup that you buy at commissary. The basis of everything that you eat in prison starts with a soup.
Mm-hmm.
And then to that soup, you add all kinds of other stuff. And it's
we can make it Hispanic. We can make it Mexican food. We can make it Asian food.
Absolutely.
Whatever we want. And
turn that crap into angel hair pasta.
Like a sopa de fideo type dish where it would be really just or sopa de pescado. It'd really just be a fish soup with lots of broth and lots of hot sauce. Oh God, those are so good.
Did you ever find Jack mackerel any other place in the feds?
Just one other place, and it was only for a second. It was only for a second. You mean the ones we had to wash?
Yeah, the big gank ones. But they were about 9 million grams of protein.
Yeah,
these big. I'm telling you what, people, you cannot imagine what the.
And they had those little white bones in it, right?
Yeah. If you knew what you were doing, you'd have to try to debone them before you ate that stuff.
But sometimes you just screw it. You just eat it.
That food was rugged. I ate so much of that fish too. I really did. I ate a lot of that crap, man. Yes, Diddy. Absolutely. 3 of those weapons had obliterated serial numbers. He had big old drum magazines, and the Tusi, the pink Bolivian marching powder that has absolutely no Bolivian marching powder in it. That was
I have all those documents. I have all those pictures and documents.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, see, we should be partying. That's what we. Casper, how'd you become a tattoo artist? Were you an artist first?
I was an artist first. I airbrushed. I airbrushed lowrider cars, and and I just did that on the side just because of where I grew up, and I would airbrush murals on lowrider cars for lowrider clubs in Southern California. And I did this mural for this guy. He's just a big guy, man. His back must have been like that. And I only bring his back into it because I ended up tattooing his back. But he said, "Hey, I want you to tattoo this mural that you just did on my car on my back." And I said, "Bro, I've never tattooed a day in my life. I wouldn't even know where to start. I wouldn't even know where to get the stuff. And this is before Amazon and where you could buy stuff on the internet. There's no internet. You had to know someone who knew someone to get a tattoo machine. There was no buying them. Because they were all handmade. And the guy's like, "No, I got you. I'll get it. And he had some friends in Whittier that made machines for those, like Jack Rudy and all those guys. And man, like a week later, he said, "Hey, come over." And he had this whole kit, but it wasn't a kit like a Amazon kit, but it was like just a box with like the coil machines, the tubes, everything in it to do this tattoo. And I said, "Okay." And there was no YouTube to watch a how-to video.
Right. You're repping it.
Was just gonna go for it. I have one tattoo on my body. It was a Yosemite Sam. Anyways, I ended up doing the back piece. Took me about 9 months, here and there working on it. And it came out amazing. And I was like, I can do this. But you couldn't become a tattooer. You had to do an apprenticeship at that time You just couldn't just land somewhere. I couldn't be like, hey, I did this one tattoo. Let me tattoo on the public.
Right.
Because I promise you, my next 100 tattoos were garbage. They were garbage because I got cocky.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I couldn't get the ink to lay right. I couldn't get the machine to hit hard enough or soft enough. But I sure got lucky on that first tattoo. And then, you know, I just tattooed on friends that I skateboarded with or that I surfed with in like Redondo Beach. And we would all just tattoo on each other. But I did most of the tattooing because I was like the best artist out of the group. And yeah, that's how it all happened. And then, you know, just kind of just fell into place. One day I met a guy who owned a shop. He's seen, you know, some of the work. He's like, man, with a couple little pointers. And I didn't do an apprenticeship. He just gave me some pointers and said, here, go for it. And that's what I did on the side when I had my day job, which was, you know, working in the movie industry and then also for Microsoft in the mid 90s.
Yeah. One of my favorites, that same youngster that had the gray crap in his mouth. He was drawing in the cell. He'd spent about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours making a card that he was getting ready to send to somebody. And he was always busting Casper's balls, like the little dog and the big dog in the cartoons.
Yeah,
hey, you gonna draw today, Casper? Casper, you gonna draw today? You gonna draw today?
Mm-hmm.
And finally Casper was like, all right, look, man, let me see it. Fine, come here, let me see it. And he brings it over. He's like, all right, here's what I would do a little differently. In about 40 seconds, he just decimated this kid. You can watch the kid go, right? Just like air was getting let out of him as Casper's just, now you screwed this up, right? We knocked this out right here, and he's done. He's like, here, give that a try. And the kid was just hit. It was one of the funniest 40 seconds I've ever seen. It really did absolutely decimate the kid. And after you fell asleep later, he's drawn. I was like, hey, man, you're good. And he's like, nah, dude, that sucked. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I suck, bro.
Yeah, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
Really
that was pretty cool.
I've
got a bunch of guys like that. Casper, can I come to Billings and get a tattoo from you? I have a few spots left, and that would be. I would absolutely. You can come to get a tattoo for me. I have blocks of time that I keep open just for those kind of situations. You know, for friends and family, and I consider everyone on the LifeBoat my new family. I would absolutely. I would love to do that, and then we can show it off on the LifeBoat.
Absolutely, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that, especially because I think Quibs isn't here. But need to make sure she's not around when we start talking about tattoos. Oh, there you go. I was kidding. I was kidding. I was just being funny. I knew you were there. That's why I said that like that. Chicken Cherry Cola, good to see you. How are you? You know what? Honestly, though, inside it is the greatest hustle in the whole world. And I would imagine that doing all kinds of tattooing inside gives you an opportunity to get good quick. I mean, you talk about having a lot of time to kill.
Yeah, I have my apprentices just draw and tattoo. Just bring your friends in to do all the sheet tattoos on your friends. I don't make them draw for a year like a lot of people do. They put them through this like rigorous thing. I mean, I should probably, but if I see a little bit of talent, then I just have them tattoo on their friends. Because once you get past, if they're already an artist and they can draw, once they get past that fear that I'm cutting the skin and putting something permanent.
Right. If I screw this up.
Right. Once you get past that fear, because I always tell people like I can take my machine and just do a zigzag line all the way down your arm, and I can make that disappear with almost anything. No. So once you realize that you can do that, then you don't worry about messing up, because if you mess up, you're going to make it go away. And so technically there is no mess ups, and it's a piece of art.
Yeah. You can do that.
I can do
you
that.
threw out the U like it was the universal U, and it's not the universal U. It's the U. You can do that.
Yeah. I can do that.
Yeah. I've seen some really I've seen some pretty hideous work. You know, I got to ask you, because this is one of my favorite subjects. I mean, of all time, this is one of my favorite subjects of all time. Great prison tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. I'll break the ice with you and tell you the kind of stuff that I mean. There was a dude that had Mitchell, right, on his neck. Yeah. And I said to him, I go, is your son's name Mitchell? And he goes, no, my wife's name is Michelle. And I go, and he goes, this says Michelle. And I said, no, it doesn't. And he goes, you could spell Michelle that way? I said you could spell Michelle Fred if it makes you happy, but
Yeah.
I promise you that says Mitchell. That kind of thing. Or the guy that had scarred for life. That was actually at Black Canyon. The guy takes his shirt off and it says, or scared for life. It says it right here. And I go, scared for life. And he goes, it says scarred. And I go, oh, no, it doesn't. And he goes, dude, trust me. And I go, no, trust me. Like he had it through years. I had to take a dictionary, right? And look the thing up for him and show them that, years of scared for life. Right here. The whole time he thought he was sporting the scarred for life. Yeah. Bad tattoos, dude. There's nothing funnier to me than horrendous prison tattoos. I've seen some bad work.
Yeah, the F pigs and all the dumb stuff across people's heads and their butts and the people are.
That was another Black Canyon. There was the dude at Black Canyon comes out day one, pulls his shirt off, and it says the only good cop is a dead
there was
cop.
that guy too. There was the dude who had fuck cops on his butt. So when he got searched, when he just squat and cough, it would just be like, a big FU.
Yeah.
I would love
which is admittedly at least somewhat creative.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, come on. You gotta do that thing about 6 times a month anyway. It's good for a laugh.
Yeah. It's a good conversation starter.
That's right. It's an icebreaker, is it not?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Those guys, no one takes that shit serious though. It's hard to take butt cheeks that say fuck cops serious.
Exactly. Or any of that for that matter. I'd be
Can I answer that last question?
Absolutely. What was it?
It was are you allowed to tattoo across races?
There you go.
Yeah. Is that okay? Or
yes, absolutely. No.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. I didn't know if there was like
no, we don't worry about that. This is night yard. You're good.
Okay,
you're
cool,
good to
cool. We're on the night yard. Thank you very much. That's a great question, and the answer is yes and no. It just depends where you're at. I've been a couple yards where it was absolutely a no, and I would fight for it, and then it's like, oh, you're a race trader, you're this, you're that, well, I'm half Mexican. I can tattoo on how am I trading races if I can't tattoo on my Mexican brother, you know what I mean? Or even a black guy. Like I tattooed on blacks on the street. Why can't I but I get it. I'm doing business transactions that could go wrong and issues could, say if someone doesn't pay me, which never happened ever. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I always got prepaid and I did give credit to the people who I knew would pay me. And it would be an issue, but there are yards where it's an absolute no. There's yards that I could go to that if they found out I ever tattooed on another race would not let me tattoo there. And I maybe even get stabbed. And that's no exaggeration.
Yeah.
Especially with some of the old political ink that I have on me that I've dropped out from. I would be hit. And that's why I don't commit crimes and go to jail anymore, because I don't have to ever worry about that.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid advice, man. That's I hope everybody's paying attention to that one. The greatest advice on earth.
I should start a tattoo channel.
Say that one more time.
Oh, I should start a tattoo channel.
Yes, you know what? Honestly, you would. It's definitely something that would get. You'd get a lot of people that would be interested in it. That said, it would still be tough on your back.
Yeah. What was that last question?
What was there? Did I miss one?
Yeah, you put it up and then you took it down.
I'm not very bright.
You're the brightest guy I know.
Then we really have problems. Hold on.
Oh, you just wanted to answer this question.
I think that's
inmates from DC, the worst.
I don't even know how that got there. I didn't honestly. I didn't even see that. But yes, they really are.
The question was, do you remember which one?
No, I'm looking for it. Do you know it?
Maybe they can resend it.
Yeah,
there was something about tattoo. I missed it. I'm sorry, I didn't.
No. It's I pull stuff up and then I forget that I haven't looked at it because I'm horrible that way. 22 months, Nick. What's happening, my brother? The I Am the Noise opera. Yeah, you know what? You have to get jobs in prison in theory. What's that?
You did it again. But I'm going to answer it. The DC one. The DC one.
Yes, that one I thought we got DC or the
okay. My bad.
Yeah,
I'm not being critical, I promise.
No. DC guys honestly are the worst in the BOP.
The absolute worst.
In their defense, one of the problems is that everybody else in the BOP is in there for the same crimes, right? You're not going to be in there with a guy that beat up his girlfriend. You're not going to be in there with a guy that got a DWI, right? You're going to be in there with people that did federal crimes, unless they're coming from the District of Columbia, right? If you get a DWI in the District of Columbia, you're going to end up in a federal prison system. If you R-word your girlfriend, you're going to end up in a federal prison system because they don't have a jail there. It's kind of like reservations are the same way.
And they rape each other. Oh God, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that. They are.
You're all right. You're all right. We're 46 minutes in. You're probably safe. And that is actually what happens. There's a lot of that goes on with that crew.
But I mean, that's the consensual and non-consensual. No one else does that in the feds at all.
How about gunners? Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but they're a huge population of the gunner.
The gunners, and not the only ones, but they're the big ones. And
those are people that stand at the window and pleasure themselves as guards walk by.
Female guards walk by, and it's disgusting. And I'm not being, I don't know, man. And it's not all of them, but yeah.
No, I mean, it isn't all of them. To be sure, it's not. But there's an issue.
I can safely say it's most of them.
It is, no question. I mean, I went to the SMU and the gunner block. They have a whole block, right, for gunners. It's called G block.
Yeah, they have to wear a special color and
yeah.
So
they've got
the guards know who they are. And
they've got these. They've got like metal things that go over the window so that you can't see out. They can only see in. It's insane. But I remember saying to the guy, one of the cops, I said, "Suck working over there?" He goes, "Yeah, it's the worst. It's absolutely the worst." And I go, "Hey, what percentage?" He goes, "Dude, you know who they are. You know where they're from." Like, never even got through the sentence. I go, "Yep, no, I do. I know who they are, and I know where they're from." Yeah. Sadly, that is the truth. I assume you can get jobs in prison. How do you get paid? And do they tax you? And if you have years in, would you pay taxes? You know, they don't tax Unicorn.
Mm-mm.
No, they don't. They didn't tax at least. And if they did, I apologize. I probably still owe money because I didn't pay any tax on you.
They probably tax it before you get paid.
Yeah, that is probably.
You're only getting paid,
nothing.
35 cents.
Yeah,
that's a good pay.
That's exactly right. You're killing it. If you're getting 35 cents an hour, you're killing it.
Yeah, you're killing
it. But when I ran the kitchen, I had to cut everybody's sign off on everybody's time cards for the month, and most guys made $19 a month. That was your standard bottom rung. You just got a job there. You get $19 a month. Yeah, just enough to get some popcorn. Nick, I love you, my brother.
Hey, that's just the noise opera, Nick.
Yeah, Nick's awesome.
That's cool.
That is one of those. That's just enough to get you some batteries for your MP35 clear radio. Yep, the radio's clear also.
Yeah,
and a couple of bags of Keefy, because you can't get through without the Keefy. So if you've ever wondered why Keefy D is called Keefy D, good coffee, man. Good coffee.
Yeah, Keefy D.
Can an eye be tattooed?
So here's the deal. It
yes
can't
no.
be tattooed. It can't be tattooed. It can be injected full of ink with a syringe. Yeah, and it's awful and it's dangerous and it's those body modification guys who are into all of that. I know. My wife says no. She's an eye surgical technician, and she does about 20 eye surgeries a day. Not more. But it's dangerous, man. If someone came into my shop and wanted that, I'd be like, no, but man,
get your ass out of my shop.
Yeah, that too. But I do scarification on people. But they have to sign a major release.
you know, they got to be a real thing when I was in Terre Haute, right? Everybody was doing this. And the funniest crap in the world was a guy from my unit said, you know, I'm going to do this. And I was like, bro, man, you know, honestly, like I will give you 100 paper to just take the weekend to think about this. Like, don't do this now. Right. I'll get you high, spend the weekend. He's like, no, I'm doing this. And they didn't really get, you know, you see him and it's black. You see nothing. Well, that's not what his looked like. He just kind of looked sad. It was awful.
The injection, the eye?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they weren't jet black. Like everybody on the yard looked jet black. When you look at this dude, you could still kind of make out the fact that there were 3 different colors of the eye. It was just really sad looking. It was, and the first dude that saw it went, "Oh, dude, you don't look frightening. You look sad." It kind of became the narrative.
Yeah,
it is pretty funny. All right, you have a question here. If you don't mind telling us, Casper, how old are you, and how many years did you do? He's 106.
I'm 56. I'm 56 years old, and I've done. The first time I ever went to jail, I was 29. Right after my wife was killed in a car accident, I started drinking really heavily and ended up going to prison. That's the short version. There's a whole long version on Inside True Crime where I've been interviewed. But that's the gist of it. And so I did almost 18 years altogether. All for drug trafficking. Yeah. Selling drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, you also you were on the installment plan though too, weren't you? Didn't you stretch a tail for about a decade?
Yeah, yep. It took me 10 years to do 5 years paper, and so I did 14, and then installed the rest. It's crazy, but it's a whole long story, but an interesting story, if I may say so myself.
You know what? The people that pop out on the other side always have an interesting story, because the truth is that more often than not, we don't make it. You know, statistically speaking, we fail. Right? Yeah, 8 out of 10 of us.
Only 2% of us. I don't know. I have a 2% tattoo of us.
Yeah, that's because you're you mean as an opiate addict?
Yeah, as an opiate addict.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 2% as an opiate addict.
Yeah.
But even just as a convict, right? Federal convicts, you got a 20% chance of staying out. That's terrible.
But
it really is. It's terrible.
If you educate yourself while you're in there, your chances of recidivism go way down.
Damn straight. Look at the people. All the people that read while they were in there, they're all out. They all stayed out. All my friends, honestly, all my friends that were readers.
Yeah.
The people that I talked to on the street.
Yep.
But the guys that were in there just running and gunning. I mean, I definitely did my first 2 reps like that. I did my 2. Even I shouldn't say that. My first 2.5. Halfway through my 3rd rep, I kind of caught my snap. Right around the time I got stabbed and life flighted off of the yard.
Yeah, that'll snap you into it.
Yeah, funny that old chestnut.
Stupid.
So,
but I still have my hair. Look, see.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't you keep rubbing that in? Say goodbye to Casper, everybody. This is the last time he'll be here. Get a little tired of that hair shit. Get a little tired of that hair stuff right now. I'll tell you that. How do they keep gangs separate in jail and prison? Not very successfully, unfortunately.
No, they don't actually keep them separate. They will separate gangs that have something on the table, which means, you know, like a problem, an issue with each other. But they try to integrate almost all the gangs. They do. But you know, it's when they see the different races start to connect, they do get a little uncomfortable with that, because now it's not. They're worried about like us getting together with other races and going against the cops. You know, if they see me and a board member from the Gangster Disciples playing chess, they're going to be like, they're going to take note of that. Like, wait, these guys are getting along. But you know, amongst each other, like amongst the races, they'll enter. Even if there's little problems, they'll still do it. But
well,
really, I only seen really just the one gang be separated, and that's the 2 gangs from Texas that, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because they Well, they're forever causing problems, aren't they?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it is what it is. The funny thing about the gang stuff is, we get this thing in our head. It's that there's the white supremacist gangs, and then there's the black gangs, and obviously they're killing each other, right? No, they're killing themselves, right? But they're not killing each other. The gang violence is all white on white. It's all black on black. It's insane. It really is. Yep. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep. Kill Whitey.
Kill Whitey. That's the battle cry. That is absolutely
Kill
the best.
Whitey.
Is that where I learned backgammon? Kim, did I mention that I'm a backgammon freak? Because I am a really good backgammon player.
Are you really?
Oh, man, I'm incredible. There are studies that say that people who do longer sentences reoffend less. Does that track with your experience?
Oh, do
you think? No, please.
I absolutely agree with that, and I think it's like the Viktor Frankl theory, I guess, who wrote the meaning of the meaning of life. Is that the name of Viktor Frankl?
Yes.
A little book. Yep. Well, I mean, that's not a 100% reference, but I think even with like sociopaths, and not that we are sociopaths, but I can say even sociopaths, they not psychopaths, but sociopaths, they get to a level of they get burnout. So you just get exhausted of being a sociopath, and and I'm not saying I'm a sociopath or that Tommy is, but I think it relates to just doing longer sentences. You just exhausted of not having your freedoms, your liberties, and you get exhausted of that, and you just like, I'm done. I don't want that no more.
You also see the moron patrol go in and out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that was a big thing, is watching, I remember when the first time I got locked up and I was in there asking for advice, and there were these old dudes going, "Hey, youngster," right? "Come over here, youngster." Mm. Well, when I'm going, the last time I went in, there are youngsters going, "Hey, pops," right? The first time you're like, "Did you just call me pops?" You know what I mean? Like, I think you get to an age where you start looking at all of the youngsters and all of the people in there, and you're going, "Good God, dude, you're literally in prison talking about what crimes you're going to commit when you get out of prison." Right? Yeah. Shocker, you're coming back, right?
Yeah.
I think that some of it probably has to do with the fact that when you give somebody a long enough sentence, after the age of about 40, dudes just change.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't you see that?
Absolutely. And that's why they even units in the feds at some prisons that are just for the older guys.
And they're heaven on earth.
Because they know they're burnt out. Yep. They're exhausted. And I guess the point I was trying to make with the sociopath thing is that even if a sociopath can get burnt out, just think what smart people who just happen to be in prison, just think how they get exhausted, because they have a conscience. They do love, and they do feel feelings and have remorse and lots and tons of regrets. Not regrets that eat at you, but you have those, man, I wish I would have zigged instead of zagged that one time. And, all the people that are affected and hurt, and you realize that, and you just don't want to do that anymore, even if it's by accident. Even if even if your life becomes a plaything of circumstance, you want to avoid those circumstances. And so you shut it down.
Yeah. At all friggin' costs. You absolutely,
Yep. At all costs. Yep.
What is who was the most chilling human either of you ever encountered?
Man, there's been a couple, and they were white gang members, and they were from a gang in California, and they were real killers. And that's why when people try to tell me that they're in that gang, or they pretend to be in that gang, because a lot of people like to lie.
Boy, that's an epidemic.
Say, that are in a different place where they know they can't be found out, and say that they're in that gang. I can look in their eyes and say, "No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not." Well, I have this little tattoo right here that says I am. I don't care.
Yeah.
I know those guys. Those guys are killers, and those guys are chilling. When you're in front of a guy who doesn't care if you're dead or not, even they could be laughing with you, but if killing me got in their way of getting high or their money, they don't care. And those guys are chilling to me.
No. Yeah. Stone cold killers.
Yeah. Stone cold.
I think honestly, Drew Peterson used to give me the creeps like no one I ever met, just because of how, I mean, he loved the notoriety of being a guy that,
oh yeah.
He absolutely grooved to it. You've never seen anybody that, nobody enjoys anything more than that guy enjoys being famous for making one of his wives disappear.
Yeah.
And that's just, I know, it's so friggin' creepy that there was a woman that worked in I worked with him in a kitchen, and there was a woman that worked in there with us, and she was a lovely woman. She really was an attractive lady, but she seemed so fascinated by him. And one day when he didn't come to work and the two of us were there, I said to her, "You're creepy as hell, man. Like I can't understand why anybody would want to have a conversation with that dude."
Yeah.
Honestly, he's just a creepy dude.
Well, look at all the people that love Ted Bundy and,
right? That is a really creepy thing. That whole women grooving to guys and guys grooving to women who are incarcerated is just, I find that to be a very odd thing.
Yeah. I love these Sunday night talks, man.
Yeah, no question. Very often when you do these kind of prison, you would not kick my button back in, just for the record. When you do these kind of prison talks, very often they tend to get into just sort of the gore of it all. You know what I mean? Again, and the anger of an island. And the truth is, if we're honest about prison, it's way more boring than it is frightening. But it's boring until it is terrifying. And when that switch gets thrown and it goes from, this is like Groundhog Day and nothing has happened for, 4 weeks. And then all of a sudden everybody's stabbing each other and blood's flying. And it's just.
Yeah. The violence of action is.
Yeah. It's the worst. Waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting for that other. And then just the darkness. I know I've told the story on the boat before, but we were walking on the way to Chow and it looked like a guy got shot. I don't know what happened. His computer got turned off. You know what I mean? Like he's just walking, nobody anywhere near him, and he just went boom and dropped. And, they said, get on the ground. Everyone's laying there. And, the closest dude's probably 15 feet away from him. Is he moving? What the hell just happened? Everybody's sort of yelling as this is, taking place and people are coming down. And the guy's like, "No, this fool's dead. He ain't moving an inch." Like nothing. And one of the guys goes, what size are those shoes? Right. And right, exactly. And there's like 10 or 12 guys out there just laughing their asses off at the idea that, this dude's dead. Can we get a pair of these, shoes? It's just ugly. Right. But but that is prison, man. Yeah. If a guy comes in and he's missing a limb, they're going to call him lefty. It doesn't matter whether he's missing the right one or the left one. The dude's going to get called lefty. It's not a place. It's not a place where if there's something wrong with you, they're going to pick on you for it. It's brutal. It's one of the gnarliest places on earth. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking the first time I went to LA County Jail, the guard, he was trying to get me he was redirecting me because I was walking the wrong way. And he's like, hey, Frankenstein. Hey, Frankenstein. And you know what? I even tell my wife, I'm like, honey, I don't know how you love me. I look like Frankenstein.
I get that actually. I've heard that one before my damn self. So
yeah.
Well, no, you know something? I remember you and I were in visiting on the same day.
Yeah, my dad came to visit.
And the girl that I was with at the time afterwards said, "Your friend is the only person I've ever seen with a bigger head than yours."
Yeah.
And I said, "What a beautiful thing to say to me. Seriously, what an icebreaker for a way to start a sentence." You know what I mean? Hey, your friend, holy crap, that dude's got a dome.
Yeah, it's big. That's the only thing that's big.
Well, I hate to monopolize the time. Well, we're going to let it slide this time, Renee B. But I have a serious question. My 36-year-old daughter is moving in with a guy we really like. He did, is that a year and a half?
11.
Yes, 11 and a half.
Oh, 1.5 years.
Yeah, 1.5 years in prison. Would you all be upset by that? Kick him the hell out. Do not let him. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Honestly, I'm kidding. A year and a half is not a sentence that you get for really doing some foul stuff. You know what I mean? It's usually something silly and drug related would be my guess. And no, you know what? People make mistakes. Look at
I would just go on vibe. Like it sounds like you guys like the guy. And I talk to people all the time, female clients who are dating or writing somebody or accept phone calls from prison with guys that they're in love with, and I can just tell by the actions of their words and the actions that they're saying to these people if the guy's good or bad. Like, oh no, he's just using you for money. Is he having you send money to here and there? No, he's just using you, or he needs you for a place to discharge to. He's just using you. But this kind of situation, like if you have a good vibe from him, I accept it. And then if something happens, then, don't beat yourself up over it. It's human nature. It could have happened with him or a guy who's never been to prison. And,
right.
and a lot of times you got to look out for those manipulators that have never gone to prison who are doing worse things,
Absolutely. As bad, if not worse. And Renee B says, I forgot to add that he's an architect now. We're not going to hold that against him. For real. It's probably a lot cooler when he was a criminal, but don't worry about it. Yeah, seriously, there's nothing wrong with an architect. Don't say it like it's a bad thing. I'm kidding. There are a lot of prisoners on death row. There are. Do they get visitation? Yes. In the feds, they get visitation on death row. And there's only one spot in the feds that's death row, and it's across. It's in Terre Haute. It's across the street from the prison we were at.
Yeah.
The new facility that they built in the 90s or whatever. I went to the shoe there.
I did too.
That's where
they took Timothy McVeigh.
That's right.
Where kill him.
Yeah, that's where they took him when that's right. We'd all be single and alone if we didn't give people who made mistakes second chances. Absolutely the truth.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. It is a nice chat. My friend has a nice voice. He does. He's a good man. I don't care what I said about him the last week when he wasn't here. He really is he's a good dude.
I didn't think I was ever invited again.
You know what? And I actually went back and watched the previous one. So you're busted on this because we actually talked about it. And I said, yeah, we'd love to have you next week. Actually ended the show with that. So not to put you on blast, but the whole world knew you were invited except you.
Yeah.
Now, in your defense, you've cooked a lot of ink. That whole process of huffing in the hair grease and all that stuff when you're cooking that stuff. I'm not kidding, man. It was my hustle my last prison rip because I was trying to not break any rules, like serious rules. So I wasn't gambling. I wasn't running a poker table or a sports book or any of the stupid crap I always do. So all I was doing was making ink. And I was burning around the clock, dude. I
know this. I hated making ink, and I would pay $100 for a little bottle of ink. Like
absolutely, yeah. There's no problem at all getting great money, especially if you get that stuff where one drop turns an entire toilet black.
Yep.
You know the drill.
Test it.
That's it. You drop it in there and see what it does to the toilet, and that's how. That was my showmanship. I'd go in there and drop one of those rings and say, "Don't move, watch."
I know. I was just thinking, jail is so stupid.
It is the dumbest place on earth, isn't it?
It is, man.
For real. If you could watch people make fire, honestly, do you remember the first time you saw somebody make fire in jail and you were just like, "This man is genius,
magic." Yeah,
absolute wizardry. I'm not kidding. The first time you see somebody do it, you're like, "This is frigging wizardry."
And when I was at OTC in Oklahoma, the transfer center,
I know it well.
There was nothing there there's no radios for batteries, and there's no tinfoil from Rolade packets or whatever they're getting it from. And this guy's like, he's got a cigarette. He's like, "Man, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go light it." He went to the microwave, took one of those lead pencils, scribbled all the lead on the paper, put a piece of paper of toilet paper in the middle of that, put it in the microwave. The graphite lit the toilet paper on fire in the microwave. He pulled it out, lit his cigarette, and walked back to his cell. I was like,
"No way!
That is so crazy."
That is absolutely crazy.
Yeah,
that really is. That's absolutely crazy.
And I know your love for microwaves, so I enjoy that story.
I'm a fan.
And what they can do, except for heat up food.
That's right. There's all kinds of fun things microwaves can do. They will take out a tracer bill as fast as anything. How was food heated up in a unit? Well, in some units, they still allowed microwave ovens. Most of them, in most prisons, microwaves are gone.
They're gone.
They've done away with them. Russ is okay. I sent him a link earlier. I know he's been working really long hours. He very well may just be asleep.
So
Whippets.
Deal too with heating up food. I've seen guys scrape all the paint off their bunk. So right. And then they will make candles out of Vaseline.
Yep.
And they will light those candles under the bunk so the bunk heats up, and they will cook meat from the chow hall or make like an empanada, or I know I'm saying that wrong, but or a quesadilla. A grilled meat, half folded tortilla. Yep. And it'll be grilled like it's a grill. No, their whole room smells terrible. You'd hate to be that guy, Selly.
Yeah.
But it's.
I did a lot of that. In the SMU, I mean, it's a lot of work. In the SMU, you could buy meat chubs, right? You could buy 2 meat chubs a week.
Chub.
And the chubs. And we would put them on skewers and cook them over fire. And the whole place would smell. Sunday, football day, whole place would smell.
Oh yeah, go Rams!
Go Rams! I'll tell you what, man, bad times. But one of the things that I swore off after leaving, I don't watch football. I don't watch football ever anymore.
How you do it?
You know what? I gave it up. To me, it just reminds me so much of the joint. Maybe it's because I ran a million friggin' sports books.
Yeah. You hate football then.
You know what? Honestly, it got to a point where I really did kind of hate it. Nice, Reese. Nice. That's my girl.
I couldn't help but say chub. I'm going to be saying it probably for the next 2 days.
Yeah. You know what? Other places call it. What else do you call it? It's a meat chub.
Yeah, man, that marshmallow looks like a chub. I don't know.
Our stinger's hard to set up. You know what? I had the best stinger in the world. We were on a yard that, like, when we were at Black Canyon, every place is different, but on the Black Canyon yard, like, I bought a stinger there that was the greatest stinger on earth. It was the coil. It was the perfect drill.
If you have the right of wire, you can take a hand drill, and you can coil up the wire, and then
perfect.
Connect it to cut a plug off an old fan or whatever.
And you could drop it into a garbage can full of water. So that's like 3.5 gallons of water, and it'll get it to boil in a matter of like 30 seconds. Everything.
And you can deep fry burritos or tied with dental floss. Yeah, you
tied with dental floss. Dude, good times, man. Honestly, some of that really was incredible. Some of the foods. I remember when I got to Victorville, the irons, they had just gotten really pissed off because every iron there had been destroyed by making grilled cheese and stuff like that, and they got new ones out. And they made this big thing that if any of these come back, they got any birds on them, anything, they're taking these, and they lasted about 2 hours. And they yanked them from it almost caused a race riot.
Yeah, because people like their clothes pressed, man. I know I did on occasion, like to be creased up.
Yeah. No, especially visiting day, man.
Oh man, you gotta be creased up.
Yeah, you have to. I got married. In a.
Oh man,
how embarrassing is that?
Yeah,
I really did though. It is embarrassing. You could have a prison cooking show segment. Yeah, where you and about 4 of the guys are throwing in all of the ingredients and kneading a big garbage bag full of.
People talk about that, and there probably already is like the prison cookbook, for ramens, or just like a ramen hook it up book. Everything you can do with the top ramen.
Yeah,
these are great ideas. But it's one of those things. I'm going to add that to the million other things that I'm doing.
I can only add one thing to the equation anyway, and that's when you take a honey bun, right? The monster honey bun, and you fold it like it's a taco around 2 strips of a nutty bar.
Yeah, dope fiend sandwich.
Dope bean sandwich, exactly right. Put it in the microwave, cook that shit. Oh, that is the dope bean sandwich. And if you're really going hard to the paint, you put a little peanut butter in there and break up a Hershey bar.
Yeah. So crazy.
Yeah. That's what doctors referred to as a bit of a drug problem back in the
Thank you, God, for letting me never have to go back there.
delivering me from that crap
never
life.
have to go back. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Someone asked me the other day, "What's the best job you ever had inside?" And I'm working the hallways in Terre Haute was the best job that I ever had. That was.
Do you get much fruit?
Yeah, you know, here's the thing with fruit. It ends up they make wine out of it. There's fruit. We're going to probably make it into wine.
Yeah, it could be dried up apples. We're going to make wine out of it.
Especially if say Casper's on the yard.
Especially if I'm on the yard. I was the wine master.
He was absolutely kind of known for blowing off a lot of wine. Creatively.
Yeah. And at the time, I don't drink at all anymore, and I'm not even really a craving for it. But that's God.
No question.
Yep.
But to this, I'm sorry. I will always tip my hat to the MacGyverism of making wine and fire extinguishers. I've been bragging. You have no idea how long I've been bragging about that. Well, you probably could figure out the math, but it's been well over a decade. I've been bragging about that.
Dude, that's awesome.
People, no, my man made wine.
It's so amazing that we found each other again. I'm just like blown away.
Trip, isn't it? It really is. It's a trip.
You never returned any of my texts or phone calls, but
he's so dishonest. It's awful. It's awful. I would, if I knew how, I'd put it up on the screen. It's just that I'm not very bright.
Yeah.
What was the wine made in? A bag. Traditionally, the wine would be made in a bag, and then that bag would go into the toilet. Right, cinch that off. Put that into the toilet. Jam the hot water on so that it can run around the clock down into it. That's always been my go-to. Was using the toilet as a way to boil it because it would crank it out.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember when the caseworker came up to our cell and we were burping the bag of wine? the woman caseworker. We were in the shoe. There's like 4 of us in there, and we're burping a bag of wine, and it just stinks. Like the whole place is it's awful. Yeah. And she comes up and goes, "Hey, I just need to ask you a quick. Holy hell! What you guys just burp something?" And we're like, "What? What do you mean?" Yeah. She's like, "No, you got something in there." And she's looking like this. We're all trying to bow up. Oh,
yeah. Man. I'll stand in front of the window. No, nothing's going on here, officer. No, we're good. Exactly. Yeah. I've hid wine in bags in a pant leg of a pair of khaki pants.
Perfect.
Behind the wall in the shower, so that I'd pull the shower head out. I would drop the bag in the pant leg down the thing, and seal it back up, let it cook, and then pull it back out. And,
with a burper.
Yeah, with burper. Yeah. Yep. Burp into ceiling.
The ideally you would grab the milk bags out of the kitchen. They're killer.
Yeah,
you can pop the little burper thing out, put all your ingredients in there, then put that back on. And as the pressure builds up in the bag, it just goes boop, 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 and sort of spits it out into the Because if not, you got to burp it, and that's stinky.
Yeah,
stinky stuff. So there's nothing funnier though. Honestly, some of the really funny prison stories all had to do with the manufacturing of intoxicants. The last yard I was at, the very last yard I was at, it was this time of year, and I was making wine, and the cop came in. I was on the first floor, and the cop walks right up to the cell window on the outside and looks in. And I was like, had it in my hand. I was over screwing with it by the trash can. And so he came in. Yeah, I'm busted, right? He comes in and busts me, but he takes the wine outside. I'm watching him. He goes outside, dumps it down the drain, right? Throws the bag into the trash, and then writes me up. And when they brought me in, the guy's like, "Yeah, well, you're it's a 113 manufacturing intoxicants, blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, what intoxicants?" He goes, "It's wine." I said, "What did it test out to?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "You got to test it. That's the alcohol content of it, right?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Hold on, let me look." And he goes and gets the guy, and the guy's like, "Well, I poured it out." I go, "Yeah, there was no alcohol in that, bro." I said, "That wasn't alcohol." Yeah, I was making wassail. It's that time of year. I'm making the wassail drink.
Yeah. Yeah, wassail.
It's that time of year, bro.
Yeah,
This is the time for the wassail feast.
yeah.
Cat. That's crazy. But yeah, a lot of really a lot of funny stuff. I had a cellmate we were moonshining, and it requires an awful lot of electricity, right? The stuff that comes off the wall is heavy. It's not like the stuff you get in your house.
No, I seen a guy get killed.
Yeah, that stuff will knock you. It is. Yep. I mean, it is electricity. Yeah, it slammed this guy like a car door.
With all his wine, the stinger plugged into the wall. He was dead on the toilet. We were locked down.
Yeah,
yeah. He was by himself. Yeah, they killed himself.
Well, and you got to be careful because you're sitting on a metal toilet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not conducive. If you do screw up and get shocked, my cellmate did it. He touched the metal the wrong way, and it looked like God just took him and went slam against the door. Like the loudest noise you ever heard. He slammed against the door and fell on the ground and peed himself. Sorry, it was great. It really was. I mean, I know hindsight being 2020, it's probably not. Good times. Good times. There's nothing. What could be funnier than watching your own
let me just say this one last thing about wine. Some yards, the wardens don't care. The captains don't care. Some yards they care heavily.
Yep.
Just because people act out, when they're drinking. It just depends, the acuity, and the milieu, like how.
Yeah, like the guy at Atwater, right? When that Atwater stabbing went down, it changed up everything.
Yeah.
For the longest time, they didn't care about any of that stuff. And then
after that, and then after the 420 riot at Florence, where the white boys were drinking and they got into it and the guy got killed from the tower, that was all because of alcohol, and 2 guys are dead. They'll shut it all down for a long time. You won't have anything with sugar. Of course, they're still going to take, sugar-free candy, and still make wine out of sugar-free candy.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you make it out of the pinks.
Yeah. The pinks. Oh,
you got to shine it. You can't drink that stuff. You got to shine it.
You got to shine it. And now you're messing with, 480 electricity, whatever it is.
You know what though? I'm not gonna lie. I've done plenty of batches of wine using the pink sugar.
Yeah.
You got you know what it takes? 1,000 of those puppies to make a pint.
I know.
You talk about just wanting a buzz really, really bad. The amount of effort and time it takes to make that stuff. And then then when you're done, you got to blow it off.
Filling up all the pink packets. What are those called?
The smell in the room.
Not Splenda. It's the pink one. What are those called again?
I cannot think of it to save my life, but someone here is going to save me. Hey, Russ, good to see you, man. What's that stuff called? The pink stuff.
It's the original one.
Yeah, it is.
Sweet and low.
Sweet and low. Thank you. Sweet and low.
Jeez.
The crazy thing is, you got to bust open 1,000 of them, right? Because they're super easy to get out of the kitchen. They're not tripping because you can't make wine out of them, so they're not hard to steal. They're really easy. But to break open 1,000 of them, I remember doing it in Terre Haute. Like, I'm snacking these things, and everything tastes sweet for the rest of the night. The air is just it's so gross.
Dude, I've seen people make wine out of those and ketchup, so it's a double whammy.
Oh God, I won't drink ketchup wine. I'll draw the line. Honestly, God. I will not do the ketchup stuff, and I have, but you got to do everything at least once.
Yeah.
To your credit, you actually made decent tasting wine.
Thanks. I
pride yourself on that. You should.
Well, yeah. Especially when I was I was like, ain't no one make gas better than my gas. My gas is gas, You know
what it is? Honestly, here's the thing. People treat it like rocket science too. It's like, you think it's done? Wait a day.
Wait a day.
You're sure it's done? Wait a day.
Here's the deal. I just had it down because not every bug that makes alcohol are created equal. You can have an aggressive bug that will make like real wine, and then where it almost tastes like vodka.
Yeah.
But you could have like a lazy bug that still eats all the sugar, but it doesn't poop out the right.
Exactly.
Wine. The bugs are different. And if I had a good bug, I would save that bug. I've taken a bug from one prison to the next. on a sponge.
You actually turned me on to the sponge thing.
Yeah.
That I used that for most of my sons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a sponge and just let it get soaking, get that sponge all soaking up, and cut that puppy into squares and just take the square and throw it in there. People said to me, that's not going to work. I said, bank.
Yeah, sure does.
Watch. It does. It absolutely does.
Bug.
Annabelle, the bug, Annabelle Backloots, the bug is just what it sounds like. It's actually a bacteria. And that bug eats sugar and farts alcohol.
Yeah. It's the best thing in the world.
It's the greatest thing in prison, to be sure. It's
I suck at science, but man, when I was finally learned that was the process and that's what it really was, I just thought that is so great.
No, no question.
Yeah, that's so
once
great.
The alchemy comes down, because you got to keep in mind, you're in prison, right? You're in prison. There's nothing going on in the world, and somebody comes back and goes, "Hey, I smuggled 2 pounds of sugar out of the cafeteria." And I remember the first time someone said that, like, "You want to buy it?" I'm like, "What in God's name would I do with 2 pounds of sugar?" You know what I mean? Like, so that's enough coffee for 2 years. He's like, "No, dude, you make wine out of it."
Yeah.
The concept that I could buy that 2 pounds of sugar, throw that in on 1 gallon of liquid, and turn this into an intoxicant that'd get 4 people hammered. That was a fascinating concept to me. Yeah. Honestly, I remember thinking that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
Trouble is, though, most people in prison aren't great drinkers. You know what I mean? These are usually people that get in trouble when they drink in the first place. I acted like an ass. You know,
I just get real lenient with the rules. Like I don't tuck my shirt in. I don't wear my boots. I go down to the chow hall and try to shake everyone's hand like I'm running for governor. I have a bottle in my back pocket and a cup in my hand.
Yeah.
Hey, Warden, what's up? And everyone's just pointing at look at Casper. Oh man.
God, he's on one. He's on one. He's on one. I'm leaving. I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
How do you get the bug? Well, here's the deal. There's a couple of ways you can get the bug. Ideally, what you want to do is you want a homeboy who makes wine, so that when they come down with their batch, you can go and grab some of the rotting fruit out of theirs, which is now your bug, right?
Yeah.
But someone has to start the bug originally, and usually they'll get a piece of fruit and some sugar and some water, and they'll get that thing put up to just start rotting. And as it starts to get gank, you'll know because you'll start to see bubbles come up out of the water. And as that bubbles, it starts to bubble. It starts to, it's a reaction. There's a chemical reaction going on in there. That would be your bug eating the sugar and farting alcohol. That's why the bag gets really big and wants to explode. And I'll tell you something, you would not believe the pressure. You would not believe the pressure that it's capable of. I have watched it blow a metal locker.
Yeah.
Blow the rivets off of a metal locker, just completely shatter the thing.
Yep. I have too.
Yeah, nothing funnier.
Yeah.
Bruno, God's at work. That's right. Bruno, God's at work. I was fond of
a picture of me pre-prison. That's me.
Shut right up on a boat.
Yeah, that's me in the San Juans on my own boat. Yeah, isn't that cool?
It really is.
I found these the other day in storage. Yeah.
Yeah, there's we live in a wild time these days. I was thinking about this because I've got nieces and nephews that were around here, and their entire life is on film. Think about it. Honestly, their entire life is on film. That's such a trip to me. It is such a trip to me. It really is. Baby Casper. That's right. See, Krista Melinda sees it. Yeah, it's the baby Casper. Yeah. That's right. I like it. All right, people. That brings us to about an hour and a half. If I go any longer than this, the boat will turn into a pumpkin. Casper, can we expect to have you back next week?
Every week.
Yeah. If next week he says, "I didn't know I was invited back," we can all pick on him, not just me.
No, I love this, man. It sets me for the week where I just feel positive, and I love that. I get to see Tommy and talk to everybody, and man, it really is. It's my self-care, I love it. I'm constantly stressed. I work too much.
And we need you to get to work on some editing for for some Diddy stuff. I got work coming up this week, so
I'm trying to do it, man. So I love
get
editing.
Yeah, get it done. All awesome. Right, we will we'll be in touch with you, people. I'm the Admiral, and this is Casper. I will see you all in the next one. Between now and the next time I see you, reach out and try to save somebody. Don't
make someone's life better.
That's a beautiful